It's an honor and pleasure to be here. As Michelle said, my name is Brandy Ramos, and I am actually dialed in from the Arizona State Women's Facility in Goodyear, Arizona. My mind has been fixated on August 2nd, 2021, because that is the date that I actually get to walk into a Starbucks and have my name written on my coffee cup and have the Starbucks employee yell out Brandy. It's a date I constantly think about in the mornings. One of the top items on my post-release bucket list, my immediate post-release bucket list. Sometimes I have to pinch myself because the date is almost here and it's so close and so real. But about now, you're probably asking yourself, what did she do or how did she get there? Recently, I took an ACE questionnaire, and the acronym stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And it's basically a set of trauma questions to find out from an individual if they, experience neglect or dysfunction in the home growing up. And the ironic piece is every question it asked me, I answered yes to. And after taking that questionnaire, I asked myself, how come I never made the direct link between, my childhood and growing up and the things that I had encountered to the choices, in my adult life. I remember when I was 9 years old, I used to go with my sister to visit her boyfriend in a jail facility. I remember very vividly, coloring pictures and conjuring up ideas of why the inmates were there. By age 14, I was a dropout. I was a full-blown addict, and I was in a really toxic and abusive relationship with a man who was 5 years older than me. Of course, I didn't realize, all of that stuff at the time or how to even disconnect myself from the situation, but that's kind of what my childhood looked like. 2 weeks after my 16th birthday, I had my beautiful son, and FYI, he's 12 today. So when he was 4, he had open heart surgery. And sadly, his own mother wasn't there because I was too busy, worrying about how am I going to feed my addiction. And so that open heart surgery wasn't my turning point. I had such an addictive and hustle mentality that I didn't know how to get out of it. And more than anything, I wanted to be able to convert all of that bad stuff into doing good. Hopeless was an understatement for me. I hated myself. I hated everything about me. But the piece that I hated the most was how come I couldn't pull it together for the person that I loved the most. So fast forward a bit, I enter into the Department of Corrections. So upon intake, you have to go through, you spend like around 14 to 21 days while the facility figures out where you're going to be housed, what your security level is. And you're in either a cold or a hot cell, depending on, what the season is. For me, I was in a cold cell and lonely. And I really took that time to grow more resent towards myself. And I, kept telling myself just bad thoughts, right? Bad things. And I remember saying, who the hell do you think you are disappointing your kid like this? Pull it together. And I wanted to obtain personal development, but I had no idea that I was also going to gain some professional development as well. So what does my day in prison look like? It's very far from average. No worries, though, it's not like, Orange is the New Black or Shawshank Redemption. So far from that. 3 years ago, I was laying on my bunk reading a book when I saw this group of girls come in, and they looked happy, they looked confident, they just seemed proud of themselves. And from hearsay, they worked at Televerde and they made good money. My housekeeping cleaning job at the time paid 25 cents an hour, not much. And I wanted what those girls had. And outside of, them being confident or seeming happy and laughing, I noticed something that stood out to me the most was that I became envious of them and I wanted what they had. So I have always considered myself to be a go-getter in everything I do. And I wanted to be a part. I, found out they were hiring for Televerde and I wanted to be a part of that. But I immediately went to this point where why would any company or any individual on this earth invest in me? I had burned so many bridges in my life and had done so many things that cause embarrassment. I talk about self-doubt, right? So I have this quote that always sticks in the back of my mind, and it's, either you give up, you give in, or you give it all you got. And so I chose the latter. So I interviewed, and I remember going up to this bulletin board where they, are congratulating the new hires. So I interviewed with 16 others, and there's only going to be 2 chosen. So I go up to the board, and I see my name and my orientation date next to my name, and proud cannot even explain how I felt. I had this gut feeling that my life was going to transform, and that it did. I had no idea, though, that I was going to undergo such an intense new hire training. I kind of told myself, like, what is this boot camp? It's not something I signed up for. Typing skills, learning how to utilize software, objection handling, talking to leaders and, having complex conversations was just the beginning. And what happened from working at Televerde was my entire incarceration started to revolve around development. And I wasn't only becoming a professional, I realized I was becoming, a better mother to my son and just a better person all around. I remember going onto the call center floor for the first time to practice, my cold calling skills, and I literally thought I was going to throw up over everyone. It was so nerve-wracking. So about after 2.5 years with the organization, sitting in operations, an opportunity came up for me to join the sales team. And talk about an interview process. Very intense, and I was competing against the best of the best. And my chief revenue officer for Televerde, his name's Chris Daniels, and my vice president of sales, her name's Alicia Rasta. In my book, those are the 2 most people I wanted to impress the most. And I had to showcase everything I had, right, and convince them why they should choose me. And I got the role, not because I'm lucky, right, because I deserve it. And I actually pushed myself and challenged myself to do the very best that I can do. Never, ever would I have imagined interviewing for an inside sales role, let alone interviewing for a sales role in prison, right? I have a normal work week, just like you all. Sometimes it's hectic, sometimes I work long hours, and I'm staying busy, and I'm bettering myself. So I actually had a friend reach out to me probably about a month ago through mail, and in her letter, she insinuates, you poor thing, you must be so bored sitting in prison. And I thought to myself, if you only knew, it's the complete opposite. I am a sales professional. I'm busy. I sometimes don't have the time to do the things I love, like reading books or just relaxing or watching TV, right? Like everyone, we all want to get to the activities we love, but that's what I deal with it too, being in here. And an outsider looking in would think being uncomfortable revolves around, life on the unit or my prison life. But that also revolves around work. And every day I have to rise to the occasion. I have to find comfort in being uncomfortable, whether that's the 5 sales calls that I have scheduled on my calendar. I may bomb a sales pitch, right? Executive leaders may turn me down. I may come across as I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have to show up every day. And like I said, I have to rise to the occasion and be the best version of myself. So today I have certifications in sales, marketing, project management, and some of the benefits are I get to help my family financially. Because my son had open heart surgery, his health insurance is a little pricey, a lot pricey, right? and I get to help my mom with that bill every month. I get to send home money for a mortgage payment. I've bought my son, since I've been working for Televerde, every school year, school shoes, school clothes. It is amazing. And my mom and my son, they actually rely and depend on me. And that feels amazing. But outside of that, right, outside of those good benefits and all the good stuff, what outweighs all of that is when my son tells me that he's proud of me. And he does very often, and it means the world. So today, I'm not an addict. I'm not a childhood trauma case. I'm more intentional about my identity. And that comes with work ethics that are out of this world. I get to gauge my growth, and I'm a better person. So, don't let the orange fool you, because I'm sitting here in an orange Arizona Department of Corrections t-shirt. I'm an inside sales representative, a true sales professional for Televerde. And I learned that these gates did more to actually pave the way than acting as a barrier to my success. So outside of my son, outside of August 2nd, and being able to go to Starbucks, there are a lot of other things on my mind too, like the fears that come with getting out of here. What if I can't be successful? What if nobody wants to hire me out there because they happen to look at my record? What if nobody will give me a shot or opportunity? So my question to you all is, would you consider hiring me after everything you've heard?